I never meant to fall for her. But calling an alien princess gorgeous changed everything. She wasn't human. But why did her eyes look like they knew me? Calling her gorgeous wasn't the mistake. The mistake was when she whispered, "Say it again." This wasn't love at first sight. This was the beginning of a war. Deep space was silent. The stars looked like cold diamonds floating in endless darkness. A lonely research ship named Horizon 3 slowly drifted through the quiet universe. Inside the ship, the human crew worked calmly. They scanned planets, collected samples, and recorded strange signals from far galaxies. Most days were boring. But this day was different. Very different. On the main screen, a strange object appeared, small, unknown, and floating near a dying red star. It looked old, broken, almost forgotten by time. Commander Hayes narrowed his eyes. Zoom in. The computer sharpened the image, and everyone went silent. It was not human technology. It was an alien escape pod. Metallic plates curved in impossible shapes. Strange symbols glowed across the surface like living veins. The pod rotated slowly, as if waiting for someone to find it. The crew exchanged nervous looks. Some faces showed fear. Some showed excitement. And then there was Ethan. Ethan Carter, a young xenobiology researcher, leaned closer to the screen. His heart beat faster. He had trained his whole life for a moment like this. Humanity had traveled space for many years, but true alien contact was rare. Commander Hayes spoke with a serious voice. "Is it active?" The computer scanned. Beep. Energy detected. Life signs detected. A cold chill filled the room. Lieutenant Mara whispered. "Something, or someone, is alive in there." Silence again. Commander Hayes looked at his team. "We should leave it. It could be dangerous." Many nodded. But Ethan stepped forward. "I'll open it." Everyone turned toward him, shocked. Mara frowned. "Ethan, you don't know what's inside. You could die." He smiled, but his voice stayed steady. "Maybe. But if someone is trapped, if someone needs help, we can't just leave them." Commander Hayes studied him for a long second, then finally breathed out. "Fine. But you are not doing this alone." Minutes later, Ethan stood in the docking bay beside the alien pod. The metal walls around him hummed softly. The pod floated inside a quarantine barrier, locked, sealed, and waiting. Ethan put on protective gloves and a scanning device. His breath fogged his visor. He stepped closer. The strange symbols on the pod pulsed with soft blue light, like a heartbeat. Ethan swallowed. "Okay," he whispered. "Here we go." He touched the surface. The response was instant. The pod lit up brighter, glowing like a rising dawn underwater. A cold mist hissed out. The temperature dropped fast. Everyone watching from behind the protective window held their breath. The symbols changed, rearranging themselves as if reacting to Ethan's presence. Then, something moved inside. A shadow. A shape. A person. The pod released a long, sad sound, half mechanical, half alive, and the glass surface slowly cracked open. Ethan stepped back, eyes wide. The glass slid away. Inside was a girl. Not human. Her skin was pale with a faint silver tone. Her hair floated like liquid metal, soft and weightless. Her eyes opened, glowing with a soft, radiant light. She looked weak, like someone waking from a long nightmare. She stared at Ethan. Ethan froze. His mind tried to think of scientific words, alien physiology, unknown species, possible threat, protocol, but nothing came out. Instead, he whispered the first stupid, accidental thing his brain produced. "Whoa, she's gorgeous." The room went silent. Mara, watching from behind the barrier, slapped a hand over her forehead. Commander Hayes muttered. "You idiot." But Ethan didn't hear them. He couldn't. The alien girl was reacting. Her eyes widened slightly. Her posture changed. She stepped, slow, careful, like she was testing gravity. Her body trembled, but she moved closer to Ethan. Then something unexpected happened. Her cheeks glowed faint blue, gentle, soft, almost shy. A blush. Ethan's heart stopped. She understood him. The alien girl tilted her head, studying him the way a scientist studies a strange new creature. Her expression was confusing, part curiosity, part confusion, and something else. Something warm. She moved so close Ethan could see faint glowing patterns across her skin. Like constellations, stars dancing beneath her surface. Then she finally spoke. Her voice was soft. Musical. Alien, but clear. "Say it again." Ethan blinked. "What?" Her eyes locked onto his. Not angry. Not confused. But demanding, almost playful, like she was testing his courage. She repeated, slower this time. "Say it again, human." Ethan felt his chest tighten. The crew behind the barrier leaned forward, stunned. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. It was the first real moment, the first emotional connection between human and alien life. Ethan swallowed nervously. His voice trembled. "You're gorgeous." The alien girl inhaled sharply. Her blue blush deepened. Her glowing eyes softened, like moonlight reflected on water. For a moment. There was no ship. No danger. No universe. Only two beings, one human, one alien, standing inches apart, both surprised, both unsure, both connected by a single accidental word. The girl whispered something, almost too soft to hear. "Interesting." And then her legs weakened, and she collapsed forward. Ethan caught her before she hit the floor. Her glowing eyes slowly closed, but her fingers curled around his sleeve, refusing to let go. The alarm started. The quarantine lights flashed red. But Ethan didn't move. He just held her gently and whispered. "You're safe now." The alarms continued to echo through the horizon, 3 ship, painting the walls with flashing red light. Ethan held the alien girl carefully, afraid she might break if he moved too fast. Her skin felt cool, almost like soft metal, and faint blue light still glowed near her cheeks. Commander Hayes and Lieutenant Mara rushed into the chamber as the quarantine seal lifted. Mara knelt beside Ethan. "Is she alive?" Ethan nodded. "Yes. Just unconscious. I think." Hayes stared at the glowing symbols on her arm and exhaled slowly. "Good. Then move. Medical bay, now." Inside the medical bay. Ethan stayed next to her as machines scanned her strange biology. The crew watched through the observation glass. Nobody wanted to look away. Dr. Lin, the medical officer, checked monitors and shook her head in disbelief. "This isn't like anything I've ever seen," she whispered. "Her cells, they are alive, but different. Stronger. Advanced." "Advanced how?" Mara asked. Dr. Lin pointed at the screen. "Her DNA looks engineered, designed, not born. Whoever made her, had technology beyond ours." Commander Hayes crossed his arms. "So she's a weapon?" Lin frowned. "No. She's more like, royalty." The room went silent at that thought. Royalty. An alien princess. Ethan looked down at the girl resting on the bed. Her chest rose and fell slowly, like gentle waves. Her silver hair reflected every soft light in the room. He whispered softly. "Who are you?" She wakes again. Hours passed. Ethan sat beside her, refusing to leave. When her fingers finally twitched, his heart jumped. Her glowing eyes slowly opened. For a moment, she looked confused, lost between dreams and reality. Then her gaze found Ethan. Recognition. Her breath trembled. You, again. Ethan smiled nervously. Yeah. Still here. She studied him the way someone examines a new planet, with curiosity, caution, and something like fascination. Why? She asked softly. Ethan blinked. Why what? Why did you catch me? Ethan hesitated, then answered truthfully. Because someone falling shouldn't hit the ground alone. The alien girl stared at him, stunned, like no one had ever spoken to her that way before. Slowly, she sat up. A soft blue glow spread across her arm, forming a symbol, like a crest. Ethan pointed to it carefully. What does that mean? She looked down, expression shifting, sadness, pride, memory. It is my house mark, she said quietly. I am Liara of the Starborn line. Princess of Ilarian sovereignty. The humans exchanged surprised looks. A real alien princess. Ethan swallowed. So. Liara, he said slowly, what happened to you? Her eyes darkened. The room felt colder, like her memories carried winter. My people lived in peace for thousands of years. Our empire was bright, full of beauty, knowledge, and stars. She paused, voice trembling. But then, they came. Who? Mara asked. Liara looked at her, and for the first time, anger burned behind her glowing eyes. The Void-born Empire. Shadow creatures wrapped in living metal. They destroy civilizations. They consume life. They leave nothing behind. Everyone silently listened. They attacked our capital. My parents, the king and queen, ordered me to escape. They placed me inside the pod. Liara's voice cracked, and then, everything went dark. Ethan felt his chest tighten. He wanted to reach out, but didn't know if he should. Finally, he asked softly. Are there others like you alive? Liara shook her head slowly. I don't know. Her hands curled into fists. But if they live, the Voidborn will come for them. And now. Her eyes lifted sharply, filled with new fear. They will come for you. The warning. Commander Hayes stepped forward. Why? Why chase you across the galaxy? Liara's answer was short and terrifying. Because I am the last key. Ethan frowned. Key to what? Liara's voice dropped to a whisper. A weapon, capable of destroying entire star systems. A cold shock passed through the humans. Ethan felt his stomach twist. You mean, you control it? Liara shook her head. No. My bloodline does. Only a royal can activate it. Hayes took a step back. So the Voidborn want you to activate the weapon, or stop anyone else from using it? Liara nodded. Yes. If they kill me, no one can resist them. No one can stop their conquest. Silence filled the room, heavy and overwhelming. Ethan finally broke it. Then we protect you. Liara blinked, like the concept was impossible. Why? Your kind owes me nothing. Ethan smiled softly. Maybe not. But you're here. And you're alive. And that matters. Liara stared at him for a long moment, as if she was trying to understand something complicated and strange. Finally, she whispered. You humans are confusing. Ethan chuckled. We get that a lot. She tilted her head. And strange. Definitely. And reckless. Absolutely. She paused. But kind. Ethan's smile grew warmer. Liara lowered her head slightly, a gesture almost like a bow. Thank you, Ethan Carter. The signal. Suddenly, alarms blared again. Different this time. Deeper. Urgent. Commander Hayes rushed to the control panel. Dr. Lin checked the sensors. Her face turned pale. Something is scanning the ship. Ethan's heart dropped. Liara closed her eyes, voice trembling. They found me. On the radar screen, a dark shape appeared. Huge. Silent. Moving fast. A void-born vessel. The lights flickered. Metal groaned. Liara stood, weak, but determined, eyes burning with fear and fire. She turned to Ethan. Human, listen to me. Her voice was low and serious. They are coming. And when they arrive, your world will change forever. Her glowing eyes met his, desperate, pleading, and fierce. Are you ready? Ethan swallowed. For the first time in his life, he wasn't sure. But he answered anyway. Yes. Liara nodded slowly. Then stay close to me. The void outside the ship grew darker. And in that darkness, something ancient and deadly was waking. The horizon, 3 ships shook as the dark vessel outside drifted closer. The void-born ship was massive, bigger than anything the humans had ever seen. It looked like a floating wound in space, made of black metal and strange organic patterns. Red cracks glowed across its surface like veins filled with fire. No engines. No lights. Yet it moved with silent purpose. Almost alive. In the command room, the Horizon crew scrambled to stations. Shields up. Power to defense grid. Scan the vessel. Every voice carried fear. And then, a deep voice echoed through the ship's speakers. It wasn't human. It wasn't normal speech. It was more like a thought forced into their minds. Ilarian royal signature detected. Surrender the Starborn. Liara's breath caught. They know I'm here. Ethan stood beside her, jaw tight. Commander Hayes spoke loudly toward the comm system. This ship is under human authority. We do not surrender crew or guests. For a moment, there was silence. Then the voice returned, colder. Humans are irrelevant. Hand over the Starborn, or be erased. The final word echoed like thunder. Erased. Preparing for battle. Commander Hayes turned to the crew. No running. No surrender. Today, we defend humanity. The crew nodded, nervous, but resolute. Ethan glanced at Liara. You okay? Liara nodded faintly. Her eyes glowed brighter, fear mixed with determination. My powers are returning. Slowly. If I focus, I can help. Mara raised an eyebrow. Help how? With magic? Liara shook her head. Not magic. Energy. She raised her hand. A small sphere of blue light formed in her palm, bright and alive. The humans stared in awe. It is part of my people, she explained. We bend energy. We shape it. But after so long asleep, my strength is weak. Ethan offered his hand. Then save your energy for when it matters. Liara hesitated, then placed her hand in his. Something warm passed between them, something silent but powerful. For a moment, her fear faded. The first strike. The void-born ship opened like a giant mechanical flower. A beam of red energy shot forward, hitting Horizon 3's shields. The ship groaned. Sir, shields at 60%. Prepare weapons. Fire when ready. The Horizon 3 fired plasma rounds and railgun shots toward the enemy. The weapons hit, but didn't break the hull. Instead, the void-born ship absorbed the impact, like feeding. Liara whispered. They consume energy. They grow stronger from attacks. Mara cursed. Great. So shooting them makes them happy. Another red beam struck the ship. Lights flickered. Panels sparked. Shields at 32%. Commander Hayes slammed a fist onto the console. We need a new plan. Ethan stepped forward. What if we use Liara's energy instead? Something they can't consume. Liara stared at him. My power is unstable. If I release too much, I could destroy us too. Ethan met her eyes. Can you control it? Liara took a deep breath. I can try. The boarding. Before anyone could plan further, the air grew cold. A tear of black metal slowly opened on the wall, twisting like liquid. A void-born breach portal. The crew stepped back as three tall figures emerged. Humanoid shapes made of living armor, dark metal with glowing red lines. Their eyes burned like embers. They walked with heavy, eerie silence. One spoke, the same voice from before. Your resistance is meaningless. Commander Hayes shouted. Fire. Blaster shots filled the room. The alien soldiers absorbed every bullet, every blast, like dust hitting a storm. They kept walking. Closing in. Liara stepped forward, eyes blazing. Her voice echoed with power. Stay away. She raised her hand. A burst of blue energy exploded from her palm, a wave like lightning and starlight combined. The void-born soldiers staggered. Their armor cracked. One fell to its knees, glowing fractures spreading across its body. The other two turned toward Liara, now focused only on her. They lunged. Ethan moved without thinking. He grabbed a metal rod from the wall, a tool, not a weapon, but he held it like one. He jumped between Liara and the Voidborn. Mara shouted. Ethan, get back. But Ethan didn't back down. His voice was loud, raw, human. If you want her, you go through me. The Voidborn paused, confused. Humans were supposed to fear them, not stand against them. Ethan swung the metal rod at full force. It struck the cracked soldier. This time, it broke. The soldier collapsed, dead. Ethan stared, shocked at his own strength. Liara whispered, stunned. You killed a Voidborn. Ethan exhaled. No. We did. You weakened them. The last two soldiers growled, mechanical rage. They charged again. Liara lifted her hands. Ethan grabbed a defensive shield from the wall. They fought together. Liara released bursts of energy, precise but shaky. Ethan blocked claw strikes, pushed back enemies, swung with everything he had. Metal clashed. Energy flashed. The room felt like a battlefield of two worlds. Finally, the last soldier fell. Silence returned. Ethan leaned on the wall, exhausted. Liara looked at him, deeply, emotionally. You fight with no fear. Ethan shook his head, breathing hard. I'm terrified. Liara blinked. Then why stand in front of me? Ethan paused, then answered softly. Because no one fights alone. Not while I'm here. Liara stared, eyes softening, heart reacting. Her voice became quiet. You humans are dangerous. Ethan smiled. Only when we care. A message from the void. The lights flickered again. The ship speakers activated. The Voidborn voice returned, angrier this time. Human. You interfere where you do not belong. You protect the last royal. But you cannot save her. The galaxy will fall. Liara clenched her fists. No. Not while I breathe. The voice replied. Then your breath will be taken. And then, the signal ended. The Voidborn ship began charging a massive weapon, red light building like a growing sun. Ethan's chest tightened. That shot, it'll destroy us. Liara turned to him, eyes glowing brighter than before. No. It won't. She stepped closer and whispered, soft but full of strength. Ethan, hold my hand. He did. Warm energy rushed through him. Her power surged, brighter, stronger, awakened by connection. Liara lifted her free hand toward the window. A beam of blue-white energy exploded from her palm, massive, pure, unstoppable. It collided with the Voidborn weapon blast. The universe lit up. Blue against red. Hope against darkness. Human and alien, together. The shockwave rippled through space. Metal screamed. Energy roared. And then, the Voidborn ship cracked. Split. Shattered. Silence. The battlefield was empty. They won. For now. Liara collapsed, drained. Ethan caught her again, holding her close. Her voice was weak. But she smiled. You said, humans protect their own. Ethan nodded. And I meant it. Liara closed her glowing eyes. Then whispered. Good, because I think. I want to stay. Ethan held her tighter, and made a silent promise. No matter what came next. He would fight. The horizon, 3 ship drifted quietly after the battle. Smoke lingered in the hallways. Sparks fell from damaged panels. The crew worked desperately to repair systems, but everyone knew. They survived, barely. Medical bay doors slid open as Ethan carried Liara inside. She looked peaceful, almost asleep, but her skin dimmed, the glowing patterns fading like dying starlight. Dr. Lin rushed over. Put her here. Ethan laid Liara gently on the bed. Machines scanned her body. Her pulse was weak, like a candle struggling not to go dark. Mara stood beside Ethan. She saved us, she whispered. He nodded, eyes never leaving Liara. And she nearly died doing it. Commander Hayes entered the room slowly. Ethan, we need to talk. Ethan didn't look away from Liara. If this is about handing her over or locking her up, forget it. Hayes sighed. This isn't that conversation. Come. After a hesitation, Ethan followed. The discovery. Hayes led Ethan to the command room. The screen displayed strange symbols and encrypted patterns. A decoded message blinked. Ethan frowned. What is this? Hayes pointed. It's not from the Voidborn. It's from another ship. Ethan's eyebrows lifted. Another alien race? Hayes nodded. Yes. And they're coming here, fast. Ethan's stomach tightened. How many? Hayes swallowed. 1 ship. Relief passed through Ethan, until Hayes added. But that ship is massive. Bigger than the Voidborn vessel. Ethan froze. Friend or enemy? Hayes stared at the signal. We don't know. Ethan paced. If it's Liara's people. Hayes interrupted gently. Then why didn't they answer her distress beacon sooner? Silence. The question hurt. Maybe, no one was left. Back in the medical bay. Liara's eyes fluttered open again. She looked weak, but aware. Ethan took her hand immediately. You're still here, she whispered. Of course, he said quietly. Liara studied his face, as if memorizing it. You fought for me. Not for power. Not for fear. She paused. But because you care. Ethan nodded slowly. Yes. Liara smiled, the soft, shy kind that made her glow again. My people would not understand that, she said softly. But I do. Before Ethan could respond, Dr. Lin spoke. We received a transmission. Another ship is coming. Liara's expression changed instantly. Fear. Hope. Uncertainty. Show me. Lin activated the hologram. Liara stared at the symbol, a silver star surrounded by 3 rings. Her breath caught. That is the Ilarian royal crest. My people. Ethan smiled. That's good, right? Liara didn't answer. Instead, she whispered. Maybe. The arrival. The approaching ship exited warp, a beautiful vessel shimmering with silver and blue light. Not dark and monstrous like the Voidborn, elegant, graceful, almost alive. The entire Horizon crew watched from the viewing deck. Ethan stood beside Liara, who leaned on him for support. Then, without warning, a voice echoed inside Liara's mind. Liara. Daughter of the Starborn. You survived. Liara's eyes widened. She whispered. My mother. A beam of soft light reached the horizon, forming a teleportation portal. From the light stepped 3 Ilarian warriors and 1 tall figure dressed in royal armor, glowing patterns across her cloak, silver crown resting over flowing metallic hair. The crew stared. Liara whispered the word again, barely breathing. Mother. Queen Seraphine, ruler of the fallen Ilarian sovereignty, approached her daughter. Emotion softened her normally strong expression. She raised a hand, gently touching Liara's cheek. You lived, she whispered. You endured. Liara's eyes filled with tears. I thought you were gone. Seraphine nodded slowly. We fled. We hid. But we are not broken. Ethan watched the reunion silently, feeling relief, and something else. Distance. As if Liara was already slipping away. The decision. The queen finally turned toward the humans. Her expression changed, regal, cold, unreadable. You defended my daughter, she said. For that, you have my respect. Ethan stepped forward. We didn't protect her because she's royalty. We protected her because she mattered. Seraphine studied him carefully, as if his words were a puzzle. You speak boldly for a young species, she replied. Most would seek power from what she is. Ethan shook his head. We don't need a weapon. We just didn't want her to be alone. Liara squeezed Ethan's hand, gently, grateful. The queen's eyes narrowed at the gesture. You care for her. It wasn't a question. Ethan swallowed. Yes. The queen's voice became softer, but firm. Then understand this, Liara is the key to ending the Voidborn. She must come with us. Her destiny is bigger than one ship, one crew, or one human. Ethan felt his heart drop. Liara looked at him, torn between duty and something new she didn't fully understand. Ethan, she whispered. Before she could continue, the alarms blared again. The crew froze. Mara shouted. Multiple Voidborn signatures detected. The queen's eyes widened. They followed us. Outside the window, the stars went dark. 6 massive Voidborn warships surrounded Horizon 3. Ethan's pulse surged. Can your people fight them? The queen shook her head. Not alone. We need the Starborn key to activate our ancient defense. Her gaze turned to Liara. It must be you. Liara stepped forward, voice trembling. I'm not ready. Seraphine took her hand. No one is ever ready. But you are needed. Liara closed her eyes, then nodded. She turned to Ethan, slowly, painfully. I have to go. Ethan nodded, but the ache in his chest was heavy. I know. Liara placed her hand against his cheek, the same way he once touched her pod. You changed something in me, she whispered. Something I did not understand before. Ethan smiled gently. Maybe one day, when all of this is over, you'll come back. Liara's voice softened. If the stars allow it. I will. The final goodbye. Ilarian warriors activated the teleport beam. Liara stepped inside, but before she vanished, she looked at Ethan one last time. Then she said softly, with the faintest blush returning. Say it again. Ethan's heart tightened, but he answered with a steady voice. You're gorgeous. Liara smiled, soft, bright, unforgettable. And then, she was gone. Teleported. Taken. Protected. And destined for something greater. The Void-born fleet turned to chase her. The Ilarian ship jumped to warp, disappearing into the stars, taking Liara with it. Silence filled the horizon. Ethan stared at the empty space where she once stood. Mara stepped beside him. You okay? Ethan took a long breath. No, but she's alive. Then, quietly, almost like a promise to the universe, he whispered. I'll find her again. The stars outside glittered, cold, distant, and full of danger. But humanity wasn't small anymore. Not after today. Not after her. Because somewhere out there, a human and an alien princess had started something powerful. Something impossible. Something worth fighting for.